She's an award-winning writer, a hunting guide, archery and rifle instructor, keynote speaker, and all-around outdoors woman who encourages you to get outside, hunt, fish, shoot, and savor all that life has to offer. And now, here's your host, Mia Anstein.
Hey there, hi, hello. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're keeping a smile and enjoying life these days. Hopefully, you're sharing a smile with someone else too. Today, we are going to be talking about a couple different topics again, and these are based on feedback that I have received. And so I'm really excited to share with you. Turkey season is coming up, so we'll be talking about some turkey hunting tips for the ladies, which of course can be used for men too. And somebody asked about things that we can carry in the woods and when we're not hunting, when we're camping and stuff like that. So stay tuned and I'll be right back.
This winter, stay warm from head to toe with WSI Sports' heater gear layers. Use Leah's affiliate code, LLCO10, at WSISports.com and get 10% off your order. All products are proudly made in the USA. WSI Sports is bringing back pride in American-made clothing. That code once again, LLCO10 for 10% off at WSISports.com.
Okay, before we get going, I have to say that episode 69, apparently, I had a couple of really strange messages on social media and I wasn't quite sure what they meant. So, my apologies to those of you who left those messages and I didn't understand what they meant until somebody actually said, "Hey, Mia, your podcast did not upload all the way. There's only 3 minutes." And they thought it was their browser or maybe their podcast host, I'm not sure. But thank you very much for letting me know about that. I do have it corrected. So if you haven't already listened to that, head back over there and listen. It was about the meat in movement, which has already passed, and it was a day of eating meat in support of agriculture. And also, it was a chat about women's hunting camo. So that's a big one that I get a lot of questions about. It's something that I constantly see on social media. And in that episode, I do give you a discount code for Proas Hunting Apparel. And I also now have a discount code for Girls with Guns clothing. So if you go to Girls with Guns clothing and anything you buy on there, not just women's camo, but if you use the code MIA10, that's MIA10. If you use that code, you're going to receive a discount when you use that at the checkout. So I hope that is helpful to you. If you're looking for that Proas discount code, it is just Anstein, ANSTINE, and that'll get you a discount over there if that's the product of choice. And now let's get talking about a couple of these topics that you all have been asking about. So, when we're in the woods and we want to protect ourselves, this is something that I believe is going to be more important than ever, especially after last year being out turkey hunting and having people who were not hunters or hikers kind of hanging out and lurking and lingering at trailheads and so forth. There are some strange characters out there. And if you haven't yet read the story about one of my friends who was attacked by an illegal immigrant, then let me know and I will forward that to you. Or you can kind of search through my website, miaanstein.com, and you can find it there. But I do have a very good friend who was attacked by an illegal immigrant, and it is not such a great thing. He did survive, but it's not a situation you want to be in. So you do want to have a means of self-defense. You also want to have a means of self-defense, maybe against a bear or a mountain lion or something like that. Part of our self-defense mechanisms is our instincts. You always have to listen to your instincts. If your instincts tell you no, don't go there, then don't go there, okay? Pay attention to that. Learn how to get in tune with that. We all have our moments where our mind overrides, but it's something that you have to pay attention to. So I want to talk to you about things that you can carry. We can't always carry a gun, and some people don't have a gun. Some people don't know how to shoot a gun. If you don't have a gun yet, and you don't know how to shoot a gun yet, you may want to attend some women's shooting classes and learn how to shoot, or men's shooting classes. I apologize if you're a man listening to this and you think I'm being sexist, but it applies to both. If you don't know how to shoot, go take a class, learn how to shoot, or enlist the help of a friend and ask them to take you for a range day. It's a great thing to share with someone else and educate, because of course when we become educated we are more empowered. So if you need a day of education, then let one of your friends know or sign yourself up for a range day. So when we have a handgun, if you already know how to shoot, if you already have a gun for protection, then you need to know about concealed carry. Once you have a gun on your hip or outside of the waistband where someone can see it, that's called open carry. When you put a jacket on over the top of it, it then becomes concealed. And this is why I got a concealed carry license in the state of Colorado, is because I would have a handgun for protection while I was hunting, or while I was riding horses out in the woods. I'd have my handgun on my belt. Well, of course, the weather here changes with the blink of an eye. You can have a 25-degree temperature in the morning and an 80-degree temperature in the afternoon in the springtime. Layers are a must, but your gun does become concealed. So you'll have to get a concealed carry license if you're going to cover it up. There again, if you don't have that, you don't have the gun, you don't have the concealed carry, then there are other things we can carry for self-defense. Knowing how to manage somebody to push them away with force is a really important thing. However, like for me, I'm very small. I'm pretty feisty. At least that's what I've been told in some of the classes that I've taken. I think I've surprised a few people, but I'm still a small person. I'm not going to be as strong as somebody who's 6'2" and 250 and works out every day. So that's something to consider. But when you are out in the woods, if you're out camping and you want something to defend, you can get bear spray, you can get mace, you can get those kind of things. Something that I got for my daughter, and I should say my husband and I got for my daughter, is we got her a Taser flashlight. So she needed the flashlight in the dark anyways, but she also has this Taser. So if something is going to be in range that close to her and it's something that's threatening her life, she actually can hopefully zap them with the front of that flashlight and she would be able to get away. And that's something that it's not my ideal means of protection, but it's something to consider. Something else you can get is something as simple as a knife. If you're going to use a knife, you need to learn how to flick that open, how to operate it, and so forth. I have a couple of really cool knives from both Case and Gerber. Case knives, if you go to my YouTube, I have a video about the shark tooth flipper, and that's a thumb flip knife. It's really smooth to operate. I really like it. That one I did have to practice to get that to fling open. Once I did, it's good to go. But I also received one from Gerber that has the thumb latch where you just push it with your thumb. I'll have to make a video on that. So keep an eye out. If you're headed over to my YouTube, subscribe over there and I'll make a video about some of these from Gerber. But these are knives that you can just stick in your waistband. They're pretty lightweight. They do fit in your hand really well. They have nice steel blades, and it's something that you can carry for protection as well, is a knife. I mentioned the flashlight. You can also get a tactical pen. If you're going to use a tactical pen, that's something that I kind of had to be trained in how to hold it properly. It's something that you want to make sure you're not going to lose it if you use it. Check those out. They are something that are small and unobtrusive. Also, if you are turkey hunting, you're going to need a pen to sign your hunting license after you bag your bird, so it can serve a dual purpose. I also have a friend who long ago, he recommended knives, but he also talked about something called a tiger light. And I've looked into these. It's pretty cool. It's something that has a Bluetooth and it has a GPS. And I mentioned the GPS because, as I said, primarily when I'm out in the woods, I'm not really afraid of the bears or the lions. I'm afraid of the people, and they are the prime predator that I worry about. It has what is called a defensive alert device on it, the DAD, DAD. If you press that, it's going to activate the GPS, and it's also going to notify somebody who you have put in there as a contact. And that's something that Operation Underground Railroad, the founder, Tim Ballard, he said that he travels the world rescuing trafficking victims, and that he and his team, they go undercover, and that oftentimes they cannot carry a gun, but they take the DAD with them. And that's the DAD system. That's from Tiger Light. And with the touch of a button, they say they activate that Bluetooth, it alerts, and it sends their location to their entered emergency contacts and to law enforcement officers within a radius of the area where they're at. When I was at SHOT Show, not this year because it didn't happen, but the year before, in 2020, at SHOT Show, I used a thing called a pepper ball. And pepper ball has a few different devices, but one of them that was pretty cool, it's like a pen, and it measures 6.5 inches long by 1.25 inches. It weighs about 1.5 ounces. It's pretty light, but this is something that, like, if you think of a paintball gun, it has this little ball in the end, and you point it and you depress a lever, and it shoots this ball up to 30 feet. And on impact, it produces a 12-foot pepper cloud. So that's something that is pretty cool. I would caution somebody like that, you want to hit a bear or whatever predator you're fearful of. You want to hit them when they're a little ways away because you don't want that cloud to get you as well. So if something's already on you, I don't know that you would want to hit them with pepper cloud. Some other items that are really inexpensive that you could look for are things like the cat self-defense, and that's a thing that you put in your hand. It's something that's a striking device. There are self-defense keychains. Those can go on your keys. Of course, when you're hiking, you probably don't have your keys in your hand, but you can also put some of these on lanyards or necklaces around your neck, and then you can use those as a striking device. So those are things that you can look for. Most of these you can find online. I mean, I can put some links in the show notes. Actually, I'll put a link to my Amazon shop, and I do have a store already set up with some of these devices in there. And if you want to check them out, you can just check the show notes, and then they'll be on my website as well. So those are just some ideas of how to defend yourself and ideas of how to get started if you don't have a gun yet.
For the love of the outdoors, open spaces, and mountains, shop www.mia.limited/one. The Mac Outdoors Mountains Are Calling series of apparel is perfect for you or your loved ones. Support the channel and shop now. www.mia.limited/one.
Okay. So I told you about hoping you're going to fill your tag when you're turkey hunting this spring. I do hope that you will. I hope that I will too. Last year, I really did not get enough time in the field, and unfortunately, I did not bag a bird. But I hope to this year because I have some great recipes that I want to try and some that I've already made, but I want to make sure and get some pictures so I can share them with you on my website. If you have questions about anything I've talked about today, then please just reach out on social media. You can look for Mia Anstein and just give me a direct message or a comment on a post or something like that. And I am very responsive. I do like to interact with you all. After all, that's why I'm here, is for you. So you can do that, or you can email me. My email address is contact@miaanstein.com. My advice for first-time turkey hunters. First and foremost, I want you to be safe. So I recommend, first off, go take hunter safety if you haven't already. In Colorado, you can go hunting without taking hunter safety. Only 1 year you can do this, but it's called a mentor hunting license, and you have to go with an experienced hunter, and they have to show you the ropes, so to speak, while you're out there. If you don't have your hunter safety yet and you aren't sure about it, you also can tag along and you don't even have to be hunting. So there is that. I do recommend getting the hunter safety because I have been around one or two experienced hunters that maybe have forgotten and they don't know everything or don't remember everything. And I want to make sure that you know firsthand right, wrong, safe, good, bad, and ethics. make sure that you go take Hunter Ed. There is a link in the show notes for Hunter Ed courses, so check that out. Before you head out, familiarize yourself with rules and regulations. And this goes back to point number 1 about safety, and I said some people don't remember. Rules and regulations are your responsibility if you're hunting. It's not your hunting partner's responsibility, it's yours. And I say that and refer back to that tip number 1 where I said sometimes hunters don't remember. I have actually been with experienced hunters who trespassed, and when I said, no, we're not trespassing, they were like, no, it's fine. It's not fine. So make sure that you know rules and regulations. Trespassing is against the law in Colorado, so do not trespass. If you want to find the rules and regulations for hunting, just visit your local game and fish office. Many of them have regulations guides, and many of those you can find online. Next, you want to choose your method of take. And what the method of take is, that is, are you going to archery hunt or are you going to shotgun? Some states allow crossbow. So archery, shotgun, crossbow, maybe it's a muzzleload shotgun. There's different methods of take. You need to, again, refer to those regulations, back to number 2, and make sure that you're within your state's guidelines. If you have never been shooting before, you can take a shooting course. There are courses offered through NWTF, which is the National Wild Turkey Federation. And there are other organizations, backcountry hunters and anglers, and maybe some of those. Those are organizations where you can go and you can try to shoot various guns or bows. Here in Colorado, we do have this spring a women's course coming up where we shoot archery, 22s, we shoot muzzle loaders, shotguns, small caliber rifle, and a high power rifle. That is a way to try different means of take and then decide what you want to use in the field. Next, it is important to scout a hunting area. Being a hunting guide, I used to spend hours, days, weeks, months. I was out more than half of the days of the year. I was out in the mountains, and that was when I was scouting. And you don't want to wait the whole year and then go look like the day before season, because you want to learn their habitat, where they are. You want to learn their patterns, how they move. Do they stay in the same valley all the time, or do they make a loop around? So you want to do some scouting and make sure that you can handle the terrain. In Colorado, you want to do that scouting to make sure the snow's melted off and that you can actually get into where you intend to hunt. Next thing is learning to call. And learning to call is not a must, but it is pretty darn important for turkey hunting. I really put it on the top of my list, and it's partly why so many turkey hunters really enjoy that pursuit, is the challenge of calling a turkey to you. When a strutting tom comes in, it is nearly as exciting as calling in a bugling bull elk. Note, I say nearly. It is not the same, but it's close. Regardless, you need to learn how to call, and you need to learn to entice him within shooting range. I have an article that I will share a link to as well. It's called Learning the Art of Calling Turkeys. And also, if you search YouTube, there are plenty of examples of turkey calling. A lot of the companies who sell turkey calls, they also have links to their videos. And once you watch those, then just keep practicing. I will, in a future episode, talk to you about different types of calls, so stay tuned for that. Depending on the area of the country in which you live, you may want to hunt from a blind. You may just kind of hide in the brush, or you might spot and stalk. It really depends where you are and what the area is like. Some places you can't spot and stalk, where there just isn't room for you to traverse around very far. So you just want to find a place and stay put. In our area, it's not legal to hunt over feeders or bait. So that's something to consider. In some states, that is okay. We also here have really big country. And so if you want to find a gobbling redhead, the spot and stalk really comes into play. That is another thing that I will be talking about in a future episode, is names about not just turkeys, but other wild animals. You do want to know what you're allowed to shoot in your area. In Colorado in the springtime, toms are the only things you can shoot. However, during fall turkey hunting season, you can shoot toms or hens. Lastly, and this refers back to the last episode, is you want to have appropriate hunting gear. It's really helpful to have a checklist for this, and there is a link on my website. If you go to miaanstein.com, there's a sidebar there, and you can click and download a gear list for turkey hunting. Something with clothing, my best advice is that you purchase quality gear. It's going to last you a long time. Sometimes people complain about the price, but it will last you. If you buy something cheap, you may be buying a cheap set of gear every year. And that's up to you, but my recommendation is go for quality. Durability and function are on the very top of my hunting clothes list. When I'm hiking around in a hunting area, I want to be able to be quick, I want to be silent, and I want to be stealthy. And great gear that's not bulky and that allows you to slide through the brush is a must. Make sure you have good boots, hats, gloves, and all of that. As I said, go to my website, miaanstein.com. You can download a list of gear there. I will also, in the show notes, put a link to a video about turkey hunting vests. That there, maybe I should make an episode about that because a lot can go in a vest, and so we will have a future episode about turkey hunting packs. In the meantime, I hope you all are doing well. Please keep a smile and share one with someone else. Remember to reach out on social media if you would like, and I will be there for you. If it's your first time listening to the show, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If you are so inclined, I would appreciate a review on iTunes. It does help the show if I have reviews. And of course, I hope they're good reviews. But if there's something I need to work on, let me know. I appreciate any type of good criticism. Have a great one.
Hey, this is Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, host of the Armed Lutheran Radio Podcast, reminding you that the podcast you're listening to is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out all the great content at selfdefenseradio.net.